the right in our society, some noble thing. But my presentation is about our desire, our greed. It's about money. I think nobody in this class don't want to become a rich, right? Raise your hand if your the core life goal is to become a rich. Is there any? Nobody here? Surprise. Yeah. When I was 21 years old, 6 years ago, I used to say that I make more than 20 billion won money before 30 years old. I don't know that why did I say that. Maybe I like the number 20 billion. Well, but maybe words have power. Suddenly I met people who made more than 20 billion won, and I had a chance to get along with them, and luckily I had a chance to work with them. They were stock trader in Yeouido, and I learned from them how to earn money, how to make money. So yeah, this my former company, hedge fund. And today my topic is what's happening in stock market. Okay, what is stock trading? Stock trading is simply buying stocks and selling stocks. What is the core of stock trading? Is buying low, selling high. If you buy a stock in cheap price, then sell expensive price, then you will make money. But the question lies, what is cheap and what is expensive? We should evaluate our stock price. And this is the main work of stock market. Before I answer the question, what is stock? Can you define it? What is stock? Is there anyone who can define the stock? Stock is part of company. If you have stock of Samsung Electronics, it means that you own a part of Samsung Electronics. I am one of the owner of Samsung Electronics, about 0.00007%. So evaluating a stock is equal to evaluating a company. Maybe you can think that the part of company and the whole company is different, and we should evaluate them different way. But Warren Buffett said it's the same. And in stock market, they trader evaluate a stock same as company. So, how to evaluate a company? Let me take an example. Suppose that James opened a cafe near the bank office, and here's about his income, where for first 3 months, his sales is 30 million won, and his net income is 2 million won. How much is the cafe? If James wants to sell the cafe, how much you can pay for the cafe? Any idea? Well, it depends on the income and the expectation of the cafe, the future income. How much money that the cafe will make in this year or future, and how many times you are willing to pay for the income. Is the value of cafe is defined by two factors: earnings, how much money that the cafe will make, and multiple, how many times you are willing to pay. Maybe an investor expects that this year the sales is 120 million won, and net income is 8 million won, and maybe he or she is willing to pay 10 times of earnings. Maybe he expects that he can earn 8 million won every year for 10 years. Then he can pay 10 times. Then the price of cafe will be 80 million won. But someone can think differently. Maybe James expects the more sales and more income, net income, and he wants to get more multiple. So, from his view, the cafe is worth 600 million. Maybe one can think that, oh, the cafe is really good. The handsome British man's face will attract all of students of Munyeon Girls Middle and High School. So if it became famous, I can make franchise, and the expectation of future is good. So investor B thinks that the price of cafe is 750 million won. Then James wants to sell this price, and investor wants this price. Then the transaction will be sold to 6 million won, right? Then it's the price of the cafe. It's very simple. How to evaluate a cafe? Just predict the income and evaluate multiple in earnings and multiple. Two factors will define the value of cafe. Company is the same. If you predict the earnings of the company, and if you evaluate multiple, then price of a company called market capital is determined by expected earning times multiple. It's that simple. So how to evaluate the price of stock? Predict earnings of the company and evaluate multiple. Then the price of stock will be like this. Is market capital divided by the number of stocks. Where I think that you can think that isn't it too easy? Yeah, there are so many difficult ways to evaluate a company, like this and this. But remember, in stock market, the price of stock is defined by all the traders. So the more the evaluating way, the easier the evaluating way, the more effective. So what's happening in stock market? They want to evaluate stock. And if the stock is too cheap, buy the stock. And the price of stock rises, sell the stock. to do this, they study the global economy and something about any industries, and they have investment meeting to some certain companies. They research so many things and evaluate and evaluate and evaluate. Let me some real examples. Here's a company called BH. It's a company that makes circuit board. Do you know circuit board? It's a chip that inside in the mobile. Maybe if you have some Samsung Electronics mobile, then the circuit board is from this company. And where the circuit board is not hard to make, so there were so many competitors in the past. So the competition is so severe that many companies broke out. And this company is the winner. Then, when Apple use Korean circuit board, they get all the amount of demand. So their sales rise very fast, and their net income rise faster than their sales. So the price of the stock, the value of the company rise very fast like this. If you can predict this time and buy the stock and sold yesterday, you can, if you invest 8 million won that day, then now you can earn how much? 40 million won. And our job is to predict their income and predict this move, predict that the price of stock will rise and invest buy the stock. Maybe you can think that it's very professional, that how we can know about the circuit board and the industry. It's just work of professional, but you can predict in our life. Here's about a financial of Samyang Food. It's famous as Samyang Ramen. And you can see that the sales of the company rise fast. Why? Because the sales of 불닭볶음면 in China is surprisingly huge. So no one in our professional stock market predict the surprising demand of 불닭볶음면, but one university student from Korea University predict that, and he predicts that the price of the company will rise fast, and as he expected, the price rise very fast. As I heard that he said to stock market that you should buy the stock about that times, and less than 1 month it rise more than 70%. So he became very famous in Yeouido stock market. So my company fired me and hired him. So I don't like 불닭볶음면. But yeah, as you can see in the example, the main factor that make move of stock price is the income of a company. But sometimes greed and fear determine the price of company. So look at this. Is the price of tan. Now is cacao, but in that day, look at that. The price rise 40 times in a month. It's very irrational. Now the company is cacao and they earn more than 10 times in that day, but the price is still about this level. It's very irrational because in that time people don't know about IT industry and website industry. They just think that wow, it's good, it's boom. They will take any websites. They don't know about that, but it's great. They just think that it's great. It's called bubble. Sometimes irrational factors move the price of stock. Okay, so our job is to predict these happenings and trade the stocks. So, what is the merits of being a stock trader? If you trade stocks, your money is being multiplied. If you work for a company, your income, your asset is added. About your income is, say, you earn 30 million won a year, then next year you can add 30 million won and add, but by trading you can multiply your asset. I think that all you know that the multiple lies faster than addition. And to find any chances, you should study everything in the world, like the examples. You should know about 불닭볶음면, the trend of some food, and maybe the cosmetic will be a chance, like Amoy Pacific, and one day I invested to Itchy Skin. Do you know Itchy Skin? So I don't use any cosmetics, but I have interest in cosmetics. I know their products, and what product is good about SK2 Sense. And everything is your earning chance. So I have a very big motivation to study everything. It's the huge merit. And becoming very realistic. Because my thought is not important. I think that the product is very good. The company is very good. But it doesn't mean anything because the price is determined by everyone in the stock market. So you can become very realistic and some tomato being stock trader, taking risk. Yeah, maybe you can multiple your asset, the number bigger than one, but this is the real case, more often case. Your asset can shrink and being very stressful. During the class, I lost about $500,000 won. And every time my asset changes, and it's very stressful. In lunch, when I eating lunch, my asset is changing every moment. It's very stressful. And sometimes becoming very cynical. Yeah. This is what happening in the stock market. And I think in capitalism society like now, money can earn more money than human beings. So I think if you want to become a rich, you should learn how to use money to earn money. So if you want to become a rich, stock trading is a very good way to become a rich. And the market is good in this time. Is news in last week, the stock market Kospi rises very fast in these days. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, we probably don't have any time for questions because we really need to get one more presentation done today at least. But I do have one question. So interrupt you. My plan, English people like houses, so my plan was to basically save all the money I earned in Japan, and I lived in a small room for like 10 years and did 2 jobs and really worked hard. And I made enough money to buy my own house, so I've got a house in England now. But my next plan is to buy another house, get a mortgage from the bank, because interest is low at the moment, and then get the rent for the second house. Do you think it's better to do that? Because it's like a solid 5% or a solid 6% return on the investment. Is it better to do that or invest the money in the stock market?
It depends on your style. My style is take risk, and my style is high risk, high return. And for people who don't want risk, it's something about safe asset. The yield is about 5 to 6%. 5 to 6% is very good yield, I think. But if you want to make your asset 100 times, then you should trade stock, I think.
But the level of expertise required takes a lot of time, right?
And the best way is to know the professional trader, because trading can totally depend on someone. So
I have some friends. Good
that's good.
Okay.
Thank you.